Hey, good evening. Um, Halloween night for me is already over. Uh, we're not to be a part of the world, not to conform to the things of the world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. And today, I actually did have part in Halloween today. I took part in this by giving out some tracts, and here we're getting other tracks ready for next year. We got English, Spanish, all kinds of tracks for Easter and Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, pretty much anything. So, in the same way, we fight darkness with light, right? So, what's the only thing faster than the speed of light is the darkness running away from it. We're not to be afraid of darkness, but we take the light of Christ with us into the darkness so the darkness can shine, right? And we remove that darkness. The Lord removes that darkness. So, with that being said, just wanted to share that. And you know what? I also, on this night that is very um, demonic, is Satan's birthday, Halloween. Just want to share this testimony. Um, some of you may have lost loved ones. I know Halloween, leading up to Halloween, even the just the month of October and especially Halloween, it's like 30% increase of deaths. That's throughout the whole world because the whole world celebrates this. It's a national thing that is celebrated, right? It's a holiday that's celebrated everywhere. They'll call it something different in Mexico and South America and in Europe or other countries. They call it something different, right? And so what I've come to learn is that these principalities and these demons that are tradition is tradition, basically, no different than the Pharisees and the religious leaders that they pretty much forsake all the other laws of the Lord. They pretty much they just pretty much put the commandments of the Lord to the side so they can keep their traditions and their religion. So, uh, in the same way, these demons, these principalities, these holidays, La Santa Muerte, and all these, El Dia de los Muertos, right, which is, Central America, that's what they call it. But then they have all these other things that they celebrate that are, come along with it, right? These carnivals. And carnivals, the reason, I mean, where that word derives from, carnival, it's carne, like meat, carne, carnival, you know. Um, and it's a very, I mean, let's just go back. Let's go back when the child sacrifices, right? The the that they would do to Baal, right? And this is all going back to then. It's no different. It's the same exact thing, different name. In Nicaragua, it's La Gigante, right? It's all these uh these names that are just like, some of these names are just completely ridiculous, right? But of course, I grew up as a youngster. I grew up Catholic, right? So for me, Halloween was, oh, free candy. For me, it was an acceptance to the holiday because of what I received from it, right? And in the same way, all these countries, they celebrate it, right? So for me as a kid, it's like, oh, great. Hey, I get free candy, man. Get as much as I can, right? But how about Jesus? Get as much as I can of Jesus, right? That is not something that the world um, strives for. It's definitely not something children strive for or hunger for. But oh boy, you show them the bag of candy, and it's just like, give me more. I want more of that. So with that being said, I do. Oh yes, do want to share this testimony because this is um, this is something that happened to me that I mean, just inspire someone else out there perhaps, and um, that there's still light in the darkness. It doesn't matter how dark your situation is. There's still light. There's still hope in the midst of that darkness. Like all the South Korea, all those families that lost their loved ones. I mean, most of these were very young, under 30. They were pretty much in their 20s. These youngsters lost their lives. They were trampled in the middle of these crowds that just. Um, anyhow, it was a Halloween carnival festival, something like that was going on. Anyhow, this is just what we see on television. I mean, there's the other stuff we don't get to see, the child sacrifices that go on this day, October 31st. Right? So, and that's something that the Freemasons do, and the Santeria, and all these demonic religions, uh, because they do the same thing. They have church, they speak in demonic tongues, and they pray to their demons, and all those things. So they Satan copies. He copies Jesus. He's a copycat. He's got nothing new. But so that's just the stuff we see on TV. These shootings going on, stabbings, and all these other things. Like, to be honest, here in Long Beach, I saw several things about stabbings. Anyhow, it's in this month of October, and the shootings that go on, also Halloween parties, and anyhow, it's just so many lives that are taken during this month of October, because specifically this month is when these demonic principalities are these um, warlocks and witches, they're praying and praying in their demonic tongues, and doing all this and moving principalities. Something that I learned about it is that as the new year comes by, is that they shift principalities. So they start doing it now. Then November, October, a great distraction in November is Black Friday. So while people are busy buying up stuff, garbage, right? Because we can't take any of the stuff with us, right? So while people are busy buying up trash, right? Um, Material stuff, Satan and his demonic principalities are being shifted. They're being ushered in, right, into the new year, and so they change principalities, basically. So they change principalities from different regions and so forth, um, and something that they distracted us with all these sales. I mean, let's be honest. After Black Friday, there's still more sales going on throughout December and all this stuff. Well, I stopped participating in this stuff quite some time ago, but I used to be a part of that. If you are doing that, I highly recommend just pray without ceasing. I mean, you you're gonna save a few dollars on something, so it's like I'm gonna go and make line at 5 a.m. or the night before. Like it's quite ridiculous how this country, we're so blessed and so materialistic driven, the US, that we make line the night before or a day before the sale. I actually used to do that when I was in the world. So the enemy will use anything, oh, a sale, oh, candy, oh, this or that, to try to lure people in, including Christians, right? So, um, that being said, let me go ahead and share this testimony. And when things just don't make sense, like it did for me, June 2nd of 2020, when my girlfriend Maria, who I was planning to marry and who I was very much in love with, when she passed away on June 2nd, that morning, I woke up, I went into the Word, first thing in the morning, get the spiritual food first, then my earthly food, and then I proceeded to calling her and video chatting, and nobody picked up. So, okay, I'll just leave a text. The day went on, and it was already afternoon. Coming out of work, um, that day I was going to go to church and do camera work for them, and I did do that. But before, um, yes, before I fired up my car, or I think as I was driving actually, I saw the text, and it said something happened. So here I am in the car. It's in Portuguese, right? I'm not fluent in Portuguese. I only speak English and Spanish, so I could understand the text, but I proceeded to just translating it, right? And it said something happened to Maria, and I remember like, okay, is she okay? Is her son okay? Is and and then the next text, um, I just remember I'm there in the car and I'm just saying, Lord, I know you protected Maria. I know she's okay. She's fine. Is she in the hospital? Anyhow, I texted this, in the text. Is she okay? Is she in the hospital? What's going on? Her son. And the next text I received was, um, I could understand the word, but I still went ahead and I translated that, and it said, she's dead. She passed away. And and for me, I couldn't believe that right there. I just was like, no, 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 hold on. This is just, it's a prank. I mean, first off, it's not funny, and I remember I texted back and I just said, no, 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 no. Like, and I remember in that moment, I was really, really mad. Nothing made sense. Um, that night, I mean, that day that proceeded into night, um, I went ahead and I went with brothers. I got some prayer, um, and I was there at Newport Beach, and my brother was praying for me, and brother in Christ, and I remember just so many questions going through my mind, and one of the questions, I mean, one of the main questions was, Lord, why did you bring Maria into my life? And it just didn't make sense. Um, the reason why the Lord brought Maria into my life is so ministry can start in Brazil and people can be blessed from that ministry. And I saw that later on. I couldn't see it right then and there because I was just completely blinded by my heart just being broken because of what had happened, um, and even from tragedy, what I can tell you is that even from tragedy, the Lord is making all things work together for the good of those who love Him, who are the called according to His purpose. Those kids, those youngsters who died in that in South Korea in that festival, who says they can't be used? Their lives can't be used, um, so others can be blessed, so Jesus can be glorified. Um, so what I can tell you now is that my heart has been healed, and all this is just a testimony, right? Because I could have just walked away from Jesus and said, well, where were you, Lord? I mean, I trusted you. I did all this for you. Anyhow, I could have gone into like sorry mode, which, quite honest, I was in that mode, um, for the first month or so. I was still being a part of the church. I was still with brothers in church, just getting prayed for, and um, I was just still very much involved, volunteering still. If anything, because of what happened, I drew closer to Christ. I hungered and I thirsted more for the Lord since that day. And then other things happened in between that. And what I can tell you is that I almost lost the sight of that vision because I got caught up going into another relationship a year and a half later. But the Lord, He restores. And I know He will restore uh, my relationship with my relationships in Brazil. And this will be possible. And I very much look forward to this. Um, so, with that being said, I just encourage you that if you are brokenhearted, if you have lost someone, whether it's through COVID or through whatever's going on in the world through Halloween, um, in this month of October, if you've lost someone, um, even then, the Lord can turn that pain and turn it completely around, and He does heal broken hearts. He does heal broken hearts. So, with that being said, Jesus bless you, and have a blessed night. Even in the midst of all this chaos, even in the midst of all this satanic celebrations that are going on around the world, just stay at home, pray, and yeah, just pray. Just pray really that no more lives are taken. Um, what I've been praying lately is that this will be a record-breaking day. Um, that there was less lives taken now than ever before, and yes. So that being said, Jesus bless you. And if you know someone who is taking part in these Halloween stuff, um, just talk to them about Jesus. Be bold, because they might, they might be alive still this year, but who knows next year? They keep opening those demonic doors. This is a spiritual battle, very much. That if we keep opening these doors and allowing Satan to enter through these doors, and is your friend still going to be there? Is your family member still going to be there? Be bold enough to share the gospel with them. Let them know, do not partake in this, because you are opening up this portal, this demonic door, basically. Would you open up a door to a thief? No, right? No one would, right? There's a man outside with a gun or a knife. No one would open up a door. But that's exactly pretty much what that family member, what that friend of yours is doing. If they are partaking in this, let them know about Jesus. Anyhow, just pray that you be bold and that you let them know. So with that being said, Jesus bless you. Good night.